when the fear creeps in, which fear to me generally identifies with insecurity for me.
Yeah.
Not the same for everybody.
Right.
I just start looking at the people that have done it in front of me. And it's like, I think about right now, if I took a screenshot of this conversation we're having, there was a day for you and there was a day for me when I wanted to be a podcaster, but I didn't know where to start. And I pulled the strength from hearing Ed Milet say, man, I didn't know what I was doing. And he's like one of the #1 podcasters in the world, right? Top guy, so successful, changes lives. He didn't know what he was doing. So when there's fear for me and there's lack of security, I go, man, Ed didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
Erik didn't know what he was doing. Chaz didn't know what he was doing. And guess what? Now I get to take the phone calls and the text messages and I go, hey, here's the deal. It's going to be messy for a while. Just start. Push the fear away and just start.
Hey, this is a quick shout out from one of our awesome sponsors. Check this out.
There's no doubt everyone loves true crime podcasts these days, and there's a new podcast that you will want to add to your playlist, Murder Mondays. Host Nicole Simmons travels and interviews victims and families of murderers in South Carolina. She's a small-town girl who's a wife and business owner, and Murder Mondays is a passion project for her. She brings you the facts and personal stories of the people affected by the most heinous crimes in South Carolina. If you enjoy true crime podcast, Murder Mondays is for you. Murder Mondays with your host, Nicole Simmons, available on Anchor, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and other podcast players. Add Murder Mondays with Nicole Simmons to your playlist right now.
Chaz, you're a husband, you're a father, podcaster, speaker, realtor. I don't know how you say that thing. Much more, man. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, man. And thank you. Thanks for having me on. And thanks for being an awesome example and a leader yourself.
I appreciate that, man. Let's go back. I love to kind of kick things off by going back a bit. Where'd you grow up? What was childhood like for you?
Yeah, for sure. Childhood was a little bit crazy. I mean, to me, it's crazy. I mean, so everybody, right? But I'm from San Diego, California. I lived there till I was 11. I don't have any like wild dramatics. Only child raised by a single mom. Dad was never really in my life. I met him one time when I was 6 years old. That's the only time I've ever met my dad. And it was really people often go, oh my gosh, like what's the story? And there's really not a story, Erik. The deal is, my mom, basically gave my dad a choice and was like, hey, you can either be in his life or not. I don't think it was a one night stand. I think they were probably in a not a serious relationship.
Sure.
My mom got pregnant and was like, hey, you can either be around or not. And my dad chose to not. And believe it or not, it wasn't until I was 20 years old and life found me in a kind of a struggling place. And I remember being 20 and I was like, man, there's this guy out here that chose to like not be hands-on. Here I am struggling and somebody completely like abandoned me. And I won't really spend a lot of time on the dad part of it, but it wasn't until then at 20 that I ever even really knew a difference with being raised by a single mom or versus not having a dad or ever feeling any abandonment. Never felt that. I never knew the difference, but yeah, I was raised by a single mom. Life was great. Only child. I mean, really no complaints. My mom, I feel like was amazing. She's still my best friend and best supporter to this day. She supported everything I've ever done. Yeah. And so I moved out to Oklahoma and I live in Oklahoma and I moved here in 1999. So that's my childhood and that's where I'm at. I started in radio, believe it or not. I was a radio DJ at 18 in California. Did that for a couple of years. And my dream, believe it or like, this is so crazy. My dream forever was I wanted to be a country music singer. And I've sang on some stages and I've done some fun stuff. I never made it as a country music singer, but I'm happy and I get to do fun stuff every day. So that's all good.
Well, hey, dude, you're still alive and kicking. So that means you can be a country singer at some point if you ever want to jump into that, man.
Right, for sure.
Well, I mean, you ended up going into real estate there. What was the draw for you to go to real estate and when did you decide to do that?
Yeah. So I got into network marketing about 5 years ago. I had a weight loss journey that kind of started not on accident. I've been praying since I was about 18. I've been a heavy guy my whole life. Okay. And about 18 years old, I remember that was where I've always been heavy, like I said. But about 18 is when I was like, man, I really want to change this. And so I'd been praying for years, like, God, just help me make a change. Just help me be more disciplined. Help me, whatever. I pray all these things for years and years and years. And I found myself in 2016, here in Oklahoma. I went into this nutrition club, which I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but it's like a brick and mortar location. They serve these smoothies and these energizing teas, right?
Yeah.
And I just finally decided to walk into one, and it was delicious and it was great. But what I found was community, and that inspired me to make some changes. It was May 5th. I'll never forget it. May 5th, 2016. And that's kind of where my journey began of like, it helped me. It really encouraged me to make some changes in my life.
Yeah.
And so I started a weight loss journey and got into network marketing. So of course it turned out it was a multi-level marketing company, right? They sell shakes and teas, right?
Sure.
And so I drank the Kool-Aid. I did that company for 4 years, swore I'd never do. In fact, I'd go in every day for a shake and tea, and every day I'd say, I'll never do this. I'll never sell it.
Yeah.
I'd never sold a thing in my life to my knowledge. The reality is I think we're all selling something. I really do believe that. But I didn't believe that because I just didn't know better.
Yeah.
And I did it, and I don't regret it a bit. I was able to have some success. I got to travel, do some great trips. My son and I got to travel. It was awesome, and I met some amazing people. So to answer your question, I got into network marketing, and when I got into network marketing, I was introduced to this thing that we call personal development. And I've always been what I believe to be a positive person. I don't think I've ever not been, generally speaking, right? I mean, we're all human.
Sure.
But personal development really gave me the challenge and like this love for helping other people and wanting to grow. And so when I dove into that, and I dove into the Ed Miletts of the world and the Gary Vaynerchuks and the Bradleys and the list goes on, right? Robert Kiyosaki, and there's just so many people. The more successful people I listened to or read their books or watched the YouTubes, there's so much, a plethora of tools right in front of us for free resources.
Yeah.
Everybody, I think of Ty Lopez. Everybody had one thing in common, and that was some tie, Grant Cardone, everyone, some tie to real estate. And so about year number 4 in the network marketing space, and the more successful people I knew on all levels, 6-figure earners up to 9-figure earners, the more people I paid attention to, they had a tie to real estate. And I thought, well, I know I don't want to do network marketing forever. And the more I got into network marketing, the more my vision was expanded, the more I wanted to scale. And I thought, I want to at least learn what real estate's all about. And so that's why I chose to do it. I probably spent a year thinking about it. And I probably spent 6 months of that, if I'm being really honest, talking myself out of it. All the can'ts, all the, oh, it's probably not possible. Oh, I'm probably not good enough to be a realtor. Oh, it's probably not for me. Oh, I probably don't have the right sphere of influence.
Yeah.
All the self-talk and all the doubt, right? But the reality is, no, I'm just like anybody to the left or the right. I mean, we can all do whatever we choose to do and put our foot in front of it, one foot in front of the other, and do it. And I love it. What I love about it is networking. That's what I love. I get to network every single day, and that's what I love. People, dude. I love people.
Yeah. I'm the same way, man. And that's why I love podcasting. It's that networking, it's that relationship that builds up. And you touch base a little bit on this, but with real estate and entrepreneurship in general, so many people fail and they get fear. Like, how do you handle fear when it comes in your way?
Dude, it's so crazy because it's such a real thing. And I think I've had a really fortunate opportunity to talk to a lot of very successful people. And I think at every level, they still have fears, and for me, I just think I think that as we grow, there are moments where we feel alone. Yeah. And I think that's when fear creeps in. And then I have to look around me. And even though I believe you put your blinders on, you face forward and you stay neutral, calm, and confident, I just believe that those are such important. Trevor Moab says that, and RIP, but I believe that that's so important. But there is a human flesh side of us that starts to find doubt and insecurities. And so when I start to do that, I really do like to look to my left and to my right and find and pull from an Erik Allen, or pull from a Bradley, or pull from an Ed. For God's sakes, that guy is such a great role model and such a believer and such a strength. And so to answer your question, when the fear creeps in, which fear to me generally identifies with insecurity for me.
Yeah.
Not the same for everybody. Right. I just start looking at the people that have done it in front of me. And it's like, I think about right now, if I took a screenshot of this conversation we're having, there was a day for you and there was a day for me when I wanted to be a podcaster, but I didn't know where to start. And I pulled the strength from hearing Ed Milet say, man, I didn't know what I was doing. And he's like one of the #1 podcasters in the world, right? Top guy, so successful, changes lives. He didn't know what he was doing. So when there's fear for me and there's lack of security, I go, man, Ed didn't know what he was doing.
Yeah.
Erik didn't know what he was doing. Chaz didn't know what he was doing. And guess what? Now I get to take the phone calls and the text messages and I go, hey, here's the deal. It's going to be messy for a while. Just start. Push the fear away and just start,
Come on.
So yeah. So,
that's so good. Dude.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
I tell my clients all the time, when I'm coaching them through podcasts and stuff, like, you got to get comfortable with just being sucky. It's going to suck when you first start, man. I did 100 episodes in a walk-in closet, didn't know what the heck was going on. I was uploading to YouTube, sharing to Facebook, calling that my podcast, right? And then someone's like, how can I listen on Apple? And I'm like, what the hell is that, man? I have no idea. Like, just had to do my research and like start grinding and figure out how to get my show out there, man.
Yeah, and messy action is so important. Like I like to call it that. A friend of mine, Jesse Lee, always says, "Do messy action," and that just means because messy action is better than no action. And you grow. Like I think the last time you and I talked, I didn't have this mic, and there was a time where you were on a different mic and you had a different backdrop, and that's just part of the evolution. And the coolest part, if somebody ever wants to be a podcaster, the coolest part is that you have this huge library now to look back on. So.
So good.
Hey, this is a quick shout out from one of our awesome sponsors. Check this out.
Hey guys, this episode is sponsored by Tranquil Turtle Massage. Tracy over there, the founder, she's a small town girl from Montana, loves God, loves her family, loves her friends, loves working out, fishing, and camping. She has a passion for helping those in need and enjoys being creative with woodworking, crocheting, healthy baking, pottery, and cooking. Look, she began her massage journey back in 2010, where she graduated from massage school up in Anchorage, Alaska. She specializes in her signature massages, the Hanu Infusion and the Hanu Ashiatsu, as well as the Gua Sha and manual lymphatic drainage. If you're looking for a massage specialist and someone who could get you feeling good, go see Tracy down at Tranquil Turtle Massage. And while you're there, check out CDA Microblading, offering Coeur d'Alene's best tattoo brows, plasma fibroblast, tightening, and PMU services right there in the heart of downtown Coeur d'Alene. Make sure you book your appointment at pnwmobilemassage.com. You and I think we have similar tastes when it comes to personal development. This show exists because I came across Ed Mylett online. I'm big on personal development. How do you grow in your own personal development?
I try to be aware that's a great question, by the way. I try every single day to make sure that I'm doing something to grow, period. I was talking to my mom yesterday and I was like, I just had an offer accepted on a house yesterday, and a really nice, big, beautiful home for a client actually in California. All of my showings were virtual, and when I hung up the phone after telling them that their offer was accepted, they were so excited. And I called my mom afterwards and she was like, how do you feel? And I was like, this is what it's about. This is what it's about, And I said, Mom, I'm 45. I actually posted about this yesterday on Facebook. I said, I'm 45 years old, and I there's not a day that goes by that I do not work. I could be on the couch. I can be on a podcast. I can be at my office. I can be DJing. I still do some DJing, but there's not a day that goes by that I'm not working with intention to grow, period. Whether it looks like it physically or visibly or not, I am working every day, because I want to become more. And so to answer the question about how am I growing or what's fueling me in personal development it's the conscious effort every day to become more. And so if I'm driving in the car, do I want to listen to music that's not going to serve me? Or do I have a 20-minute window that I can check out even part of a podcast? Right. So I'll use Bradley because that's a common thing for us, right? So I like to listen to Brad every week, right? So I know that if I have a 20-minute drive, even though there might be an episode of Brad's show that week that's an hour, if I can get that 20 minutes in, I'll catch another 20 minutes later. And if I do 20 minutes times 3, I've gotten in the episode. Right. And what does that matter? I don't have to check it off my list, but did that 60 minutes serve me better than listening to some random music or listening to something or not listening to anything at all? It did. It made me a better person. It made me stronger. It filled my cup. That's important, is to grow. Right. Mm-hmm. So I think if we're intentional, the right tools come to us. And if we're every day doing something that's going to help serve us to become more, that's where you find the right personal development tools, every day having a desire to grow.
Yeah. Oh man, that's so good. Dude. And speaking of podcasts, I want to talk about your show. It's the Chaz Way podcast, man.
Yeah, man.
I've been it's an honor to be on your show there, but why did you start the podcast and how has it helped your business?
Okay, so I started the podcast I talked about it all of 2019. I chose to be in action in 2020. And in 2021, I keep forgetting we're in 22 now. January 21, I finally went to start, and it was an episode. Every single week I had an episode. The goal of the show is to bring value to people, period. I can give you all the furly, I want to like help people feel their worth and their value. And there really are. I have 3 missions to the show, and that is to make sure people know they're worthy, help people know that they can take their life from ordinary to extraordinary. And also the third, and it's super important, is for people to know that I'm here to lock arms with them to whatever extent that means. Help them find it, if it's to help you learn to make money, help you learn to love yourself, help you learn to cope with struggles, whatever, right? Those are the 3 things that the show really stands for. But at the end of the day, I want to bring you value. And so every week in 2020, it was just pretty much me. And I would just really talk about whatever was on my heart. I'd do an episode every week, came out on Mondays. And towards the end of the year, I decided I really want to capitalize this on grow. I'm blessed to know a lot of people. And I feel like the more people that can be on the show, the more we can help expand and bring more value on a larger scale. So what's the show about? The show is about bringing value to others. The show is about inspiring. My interview today for our Friday release is going to be a guy who's a motocross dad. He's got 3 moto kids, and he's a vlogger. He's a YouTube vlogger. He loves the moto world. I love motocross, right? A couple months ago, it was you, a successful podcaster, teacher, guide, leader, businessman, dad, father, lover, husband, right? A couple weeks ago, it was a massive, successful 8-figure earner in the in the entrepreneur space. And so, but what comes from that? What comes from that is like, with you, it's for somebody who might have a desire to be a podcaster and they have this fear of getting in front of the mic. For the guy today, it might be somebody that wants to start a YouTube vlog, but they don't know where to start. Maybe they're a dad and they don't know how to connect with their children. I don't know what's going to happen. We haven't done the interview yet, but I guarantee God's going to show up and it's going to work out the way it's supposed to, right? So the goal is to bring value. That's just what the show is about. Interestingly enough, and I'll close this question with this, is the show's called The Chaz Way, and it's WEIGH, the Chaz Way podcast. Yep. I created that brand in 2016 when I told you earlier I started with this weight loss journey. Ironically, I've lost weight, I've gained weight, I've lost weight, I've gained weight. I'm at my almost back to my heaviest now. And although that's embarrassing and it's so hard to say, I almost celebrate as I tell you that, Erik. And the reason is because it's almost freeing to say, it's just not about me. It's okay that my journey has led me to where I am today. I get to share with the world other people's journey and other people's story. And if I can impact more people every single day, then that's what it is. I mean, who knew that the Chaz Way brand that was going to be helping people lose weight and feel great and get more energy, blah, 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 4, 5, 6 years ago, now is impacting a much larger scale of people by bringing in other guests who can really massively inspire with their stories. It's so much bigger than just Chaz, right? And so that's what my goal is to bring value every single week. And how has it impacted my business? Massively, because I'm building relationships. That's the short answer. I'm building relationships every day, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah, dude, that's so good, man. That's the key part, I think, for success in anything, business, podcasting, whatever it is. It's all about relationships, man. It's the new currency for sure. Like Brad, I think mentioned that when I was there, oh man, Chaz, such an honor to have you on my show. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day, man. Truly an honor to call you friend and have you on my show. Thank you.
For sure. I feel the same way about you. Thanks, Erik.
Thank you so much for checking out the show today. I really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to take a listen or a watch. It's truly an honor to be able to speak with such amazing guests, and I hope that they've made an impact on your life in some way, shape, or form. And you could do me one big favor that would be huge. Click that subscribe button, and then second favor, hit that share button. Thank you so much for taking the time. I appreciate you. Keep changing the world. I believe in you.